On this episode of Municipali-Tea, we will share the fourth and final part of our interview with State Representative Erika. Please enjoy. Hello.
Hi.
Is Somerville an important city on a state level?
That's a great question. It's interesting because to answer that, I'll be very upfront about it. So, Somerville, we have 90,000 people. We have 7 million people in the state. So, oftentimes when we advocate for things, especially if it's like a statewide office, they're thinking like, okay, but you're like 1% to 2%, of the population, right? So we always have to, it's very important for us when we want to get our outcomes or our, so for example, getting funding for your school building, right? We are very careful to always work together as a whole state delegation, because I'm not the only rep from Somerville, and be very coordinated with the municipal government so that we can get what we want. The piece that, to answer your question on the importance, right, and how and this is why your votes matter. I think when people run for statewide office, so take, for example, the governor or your senators, right, at the federal level, they're thinking about votes across the whole state. And I think sometimes, because Somerville is a very progressive city, and largely we are voting, overwhelmingly Democrat, kind of similar to the Electoral College, I think sometimes statewide offices, they kind of overlook or take us for granted because they're like, oh, these are votes that are locked in anyway. And I think that's wrong, because it's also about not just, are there people voting Democrat or Republican? It's also about turnout. So if you run on a policy platform that does not excite people, that makes people feel like, oh, this is the same old corrupt political system, right? You're not going to see the same turnout. While with issues that are exciting for people in Somerville, right, we have been able to show that we will increase turnout. A lot of people will come out to vote. That's more votes for you. So I think there is a general understanding that somehow these purple districts are more, you should focus more on them versus Somerville. And I think that's wrong. And the example I always want to uplift is just 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, we passed the millionaires tax. So we made it so millionaires had to pay more taxes so that money could go into your schools and into transportation. Somerville had a very outsized vote, turnout. And I think in a lot of ways we actually carried that ballot question over the finish line, because at the election night, people thought we lost because of how the votes were counting across the state. But because Somerville had a much higher turnout, and as well as other areas, right, that was a huge difference. So I do think Somerville is very important, and we need to break that narrative about, focus on the kind of swing states or swing cities that are not what Somerville is.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
A quick pause.
Yeah.
Ready?
So my question is, what do you like to do in your free time?
Oh, my free time. Okay. So right now I'm gardening because it's about to get warmer. So I have a little garden plot in my yard. It's amazing what you can do with a small amount of space. But yeah, I like to grow tomatoes, lettuces, cucumbers. So and I'm hoping maybe someday I'll be able to get chickens, because I want to get but I don't think I have enough space for it. So we'll see. We'll figure it out. But I do love doing outdoor nature planting. I used to do hiking more, but with this job, it's pretty hard to get out on the weekends. So that gardening became my sort of morning activity. So yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's it. Okay, yeah. Thank you.
My question is, what do you love the most about Somerville?
What I love most about Somerville, I really love how engaged our city is on so many issues. So it's something that when I talk to other legislators, they're usually like, oh, no one asks me how I vote. No one's asked me about these bills. I don't hear from anyone. I'm so lucky that I get to have, not only are people asking me questions, people are also organized around a lot of issues. So I mentioned last class, there was a group that formed to remove police from schools. So that kind of community organizing, it was fully grassroots, right? But it was students, educators, parents that were coming together, and they wanted to make this change. Those sort of groups exist kind of across the all the issues. So that's what I love most about Somerville and being a state rep here. I also do love how there's just always things going on in the city. So every weekend there's always something. We had the immigrant rights rally this weekend, which was great, as well as the Padres kind of gathering. Connection Church always has a lot of awesome stuff going on. So there's all these things happening in the city, so the liveliness of it, and it's so easy to get to move around. So yeah,
Like every day happens something.
yeah.
Don't pass like a day with nothing.
What's that?
Like don't have like a day with nothing happens.
Yeah, right. Because where I grew up, it was kind of like that. I grew up in a suburb, and everyone had their yard, and they never really. There was no sense of community, so
They don't ring out so much.
They don't, yeah. And it's like when people get together, they're usually reacting against something, which is not, most, it's not the most uplifting word to always be reacting. So, yeah.
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 Thank you.
Awesome.
We touched a little on this with our last class and then ran out of time.
Yep.
But do you have any questions for us?
Yeah. Well, I'll ask again. I asked the last class this, but I'm curious what are issues that are most important to you all? Because that helps me advocate for issues in the legislature. Okay. Everything.
Yeah. Maybe I can read aloud some of our community research questions.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
asking for Municipali-Tea,
Yeah.
and then that'll give you a sense of what matters the most to us.
Yep.
We got questions around how can you make housing more affordable?
Housing, yeah.
We have a question about how can we get the MBTA buses, like their bus schedule, to
Yeah.
line up
Yes.
with our school start time?
Oh my gosh, I actually have a letter I can send you all, and you all can see. So this actually came up back in September, and I wrote this whole thing on the bus schedule. So I have a little table about. There's buses that if they just moved it back 15 minutes, you all could take to get to
Yes.
school. So that's been actually something I have been pushing the MBTA. So anyway, that's
No,
awesome. Okay,
thank
great.
you.
I will
Yeah.
share that so you all can also.
Especially if we could add, because when we've now had to move buildings,
Yeah.
it then
Right.
impacts.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
it's a newer problem for us in the last year and a
Yeah.
half. Yeah, we're getting some
No,
Jen's
it's
not
We're
alone.
looking at every bus that went from west to east,
Yep.
down because there's up from Broadway down to Highland Ave. So we I have a whole table to share with you all. Yeah.
Please,
Yeah.
you have my email. Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, how long does it take y'all to get to school? You can just call it out. How long does it take?
40?
Yes.
20.
20,
20, 25. How many of y'all walk? Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
How many? Why? Did you go the wrong way, or no? It just took an hour. Oh my
Oh
goodness.
my god. Who
How?
takes the bus?
Yeah, that was enough. Who takes the bus? Who takes the bus to get here? Yeah.
Okay, it's about 40%. Yeah. Okay. Oh, so you have to walk after the. Okay. Does anyone ride their bike?
A couple of
A few
us.
people?
Oh, when it's warmer.
It's cool. Yeah, not now, but yeah. Okay. How else can people get?
Some of you had asked us what matters to us. So we said
Yeah.
housing affordability,
MBTA.
general cost of living. And so
Yep.
we started looking into the UBI pilot
Oh,
that
yeah.
Somerville
Uh-huh.
passed, but maybe there's state level work.
Yep.
What else?
else?
What else? Oh, we are talking about do we have enough mental health supports in our schools?
Yep.
And maybe ways we can get more counselors in our buildings.
Yep.
What are our other questions? Yes, food affordability.
Food. Okay. Yep. Yeah. So it's kind of like UBI, Universal Basic Income. Kids. Yeah. Students. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Would you like another cup of tea?
Oh, I'm
State
good
Rep?
for now.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah.
And then we have a few history questions. So
Yeah.
I know we have one group. Yeah, what's your question? Do you remember?
Yeah, class 4.
the history of recreational sports in Somerville because
Oh.
we love we got what? We got the best soccer team in the city. Yeah, we
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah, we got soccer players
fan,
here.
yeah.
Oh my god, super fans.
we lost our field when we don't have a field here. We don't have any green space. Yeah.
Okay, super cool.
What's your question?
Thank you for listening, and remember, you can follow us on Instagram, YouTube, or Spotify to make sure you never miss an episode.